Welcome to Melt. I'm Suresh Venkat. We're coming to you today from the headquarters of audio streaming brand Spotify India. The brand, of course, has been in the news for its new Feel the Music campaign and will have lots of word of mouth when it releases its yearly Spotify Wrapped stats and data. To know more, we are in conversation with Neha Ahuja, the head of marketing at Spotify India. What does it take to build brand affinity in today's times? What can be the role of TV and out of home? And where is the next big growth opportunity? Let's find out as we get ready to melt with Neha Ahuja. Neha, welcome to Melt. Now we're meeting a few weeks after Spotify launched its new campaign in India. It's called Feel the Music. We have seen the hoardings all over the city of Mumbai, and we've seen the other digital assets as well. Let's go to the basics of this. What was the marketing objective behind this campaign?
So I think it was really going back to the basics. We went back to our purpose for this campaign, which is really like putting the artist on the main stage. That was the intent behind this, right? When you talk about India, unlike many other countries, I pick any song, right? The first thing that comes to your mind is what are the visuals? What are the actors? Who are the actors that you see, sort of enact and play that music? That shouldn't be the case. If I say Dil Chahta Hai, what comes to your mind?
Saif Ali Khan,
Yes,
Akshay Khanna.
absolutely. But that shouldn't be the case. The actual three people who should come to your mind are the musicians behind it, which is Shankar, Ehsaan and Lloyd. And that was the intent, which is really about putting the artist on the main stage. It was about, putting their hard work, getting the fans very sort of close to all the hard work, effort, hustle, passion that goes behind making this music. We need to feel the music. We need to, sort of stream the music in a certain way. That was the campaign. It was all about that.
Okay, can I ask you a follow-up to that?
Absolutely.
You've used music from 20 years ago, Dil Chahta Hai or the Vande Mataram.
Yes.
Why not use more contemporary music that was released maybe a month ago, maybe 3 months ago?
So there will be more assets coming which are contemporary, but I think we felt that these are the songs that really touch the soul of a lot of people, and I wouldn't call them retro songs. They are evergreen. Both Vande Mataram and Dil Chahta Hai are like absolutely evergreen songs. That's why the choice.
If those are retro songs, then I'm very old because I remember them as current music.
Yes.
All right. Now let's move to another marketing decision. Spotify is one of the few brands that uses out-of-home, hoardings in particular.
Yeah.
What's the reason for this decision to use so much of OOH?
See, outdoor for us is part of a multimedia plan. We don't go only outdoor, and every medium in the media plan has a role to play. While there are some that sort of is used for the scale, some are used for very niche targeting. Outdoor for us is impact. What we do a bit differently, and I'm going to be a bit boastful about it. You saw that happening in our first campaign as well, which is there's a playlist for that. And now the intent is to go phygital. While we put out the outdoors, they live their life and come back on digital on their own. So you know what happened when we put out these 40 artists on outdoors? Their fans clicked the pictures or clicked photos of these outdoors and put it on social, tagged their artists, tagged the friends, and celebrated that moment. And that truly became a phygital campaign on its own.
So is one of the aims to encourage listening while commuting as well? I see an outdoor hoarding for Spotify is part of that to encourage me to.
Transit is a very important use case for us. We've all grown up like that. It was radio or it was, commuting by bus or train. We've always had our Walkmans and, then CD players, and now it's of course become more convenient. This campaign is not only about encouraging that habit, but yes, to answer your question, commute and transit is a very important use case for us. One of the top use cases.
You said all the other media have their own uses as well in your Spotify understanding of media. So TV, digital, radio, events. How do you use each of these platforms separately?
See, TV for us, like any other brand, is for a very large scale reach, right? And for us, because we believe that music is for everyone, we use that medium like that, right? It's the best medium to reach out to 400 people. And if I'm talking about the role of music, what music does to you, music, end of the day, is a grease to anybody's life. India is a very, we get into a very crummy situation very often during the day. And I keep saying this, India is a very work in progress country. So we need some soother, during moments of days. And 400-500 million people need music in their lives, if not more. This was the most efficient way to call out that, hey, there is music free of cost. It's on your phone. Make your moments less crummy. So that's how we use TV, which is large scale, calling out really like what's the purpose of music, what can music do to you. And then we use digital actually very effectively for a little bit more niche targeting. Being at Spotify, we understand what you like, what artists you listen to, what genre you like, what time of the day you like listening to, and then we are able to serve you a little bit better via digital, as a medium, because it just allows me to.
And
serve, yeah.
one would think FM radio is a competitor to Spotify, but you use radio as well for your marketing
Absolutely,
activities.
absolutely, yeah.
So FM radio is not a competitor in
See,
the
FM
listening
radio,
universe or share of ear?
It's because the way the product is built. Every time you open the app, it's different. If you've noticed, right? In the morning, you open the app, it's different. You start streaming more Punjabi, your app will start looking a little bit more sort of populated with Punjabi, or you switch to classic jazz, you will see that, hey, there's so much more classic jazz. So I think just the way the app operates is very different from FM radio.
Now tell us about the role of experiential marketing at Spotify.
For me, not only at Spotify, but experiential marketing actually allows you to build a stronger bond with the user, right? That's the only place where you have the user physically there, the eyes, ears, feeling, vibe, everything from a consumer is yours, right? So it just gives you that connect with the consumer a little bit more. We offer an experiential zone to our users in many different ways. One, connecting better with their artist, right? So we sort of facilitate what we call fan experience. So if you are, really a jazz listener, or you are, an indie music listener, we will make sure that if an indie artist, say Anuj Jain or King, is organizing, an experience with his fans, then we would want to call the top 100, 200 fans that are there on Spotify. And make sure that they get that experience with Anuj Jain or with King. The artist also feels so special that, hey, all my top 100 crazy fans are here with me in the room. So that's how we sort of leverage experiential marketing. And then these fans, one, of course, celebrate or, sort of are extremely happy with that event, but they talk about Spotify, right? They become our advocates for years to come.
One of the hidden messages, not so hidden actually, in the Feel the Music campaign seems to be a push for premiumization. So is that a major push at Spotify?
The real message or the real purpose of doing this campaign was putting the artist main stage. We do believe that there is a way that we should stream music, which is ad-free. It gives you the best experience, which is a better quality music, right? And till the time I joined Spotify, I don't know whether you know this or not, but till the time I joined Spotify, I didn't know this, that when music is released, or, whether it's film music or it's artists making an album, it's so thought through that what song comes after which song, right? And how to keep the tempo going. And sometimes the artist really wants to build that tempo, break it, build it back. So there's a lot of thinking that goes behind how the playlisting has happened for that album. I think being on premium gives you an experience which is, of course, a better quality music. It's ad-free, but you also listen to stream music in a way which is meant to be.
I came across a nice meme yesterday. It was about YouTube, not about Spotify, but it may apply. Somebody said YouTube's business model explained in 2 sentences. They charge advertisers to advertise on YouTube, and they charge users not to see those ads. Right?
Yes.
So I imagine Spotify Premium is an ad-free experience. How do advertisers feel about ad-free experiences?
Advertising is not a boo-boo in India. We've all lived with ads on TV, or we've all lived with ads on FM, right? So it's not something that we look down upon. Sometimes it almost becomes like, hey, it's entertainment for me during
right?
Yeah, so during music, sometimes I do want to listen to a little bit of that in the middle. But that's not the experience. That's not the true experience of how music should be heard. That's all that we are saying. We have millions and millions of fans that are on the free experience. It's still a great product. You still have a lot of extra features that we offer, very personalized experience on Spotify. Yeah, but if you want to hop on to, an even better experience, there is always
So what is the pitch to the premium customer, the value conscious and the premium customer? Is it ad freeness? Is it better music experience? Is it tech play, price play? What are the plays that you envision?
It's mostly not price play. We don't talk about, if you've seen even in this campaign, we don't say it's, $100
You
or
don't.
it's
There's no
$190.
price mentioned. It just says go premium.
There isn't. And I think we believe that while the user is value conscious, affordability is not an issue.
Mhm.
You will see whether it's a 18-year-old, 16-year-old or 40-year-old, there are many, today's Starbucks and cafe coffees are packed, for a coffee that
And
costs $200.
$350 of coffee.
Absolutely, right? That costs $300. So I'm sure affordability of, moving up to a premium experience which costs $100 a month is not a problem. That's not the problem.
But
That's
is
not the
music
barrier.
perceived to be something that ought to be free?
I think
And therefore,
that is the problem. That is the job that we need to do, and we need to do collectively as an industry, that the mindset has to change. For years, we have consumed music free of cost. We have to change the mindset that this is something that, we will need to pay for if you want to get an elevated experience.
and what challenge that specific sort of human, what should we call it, behavioral quirk pose for you as a marketer, that people expect this to be for free?
I think we need to bring out value in the whole premium package. You asked this question, saying that is it ad free or is it better quality? I think it'll be a package which will offer a value. So it's everything. I mean, and
It's
I know
sophisticated technology,
absolutely ad free. It's better listening quality, and I think what we are also going to provide, and we've started doing that already, is on ground experiences. So there are a lot of exclusive benefits that a premium user will get.
Now, Neha, tell us a little bit about your consumer. When you create consumer profiles for Indian consumers, how many different kinds of profiles? Could you give us a few examples of how you profile them?
See, music is for everyone.
That's
Right.
a
So
given.
there is no segmenting of, hey, this is a user and this is not a user. So there are all the internet users right now is my TG, right? So no segmentation there. There are many ways to sort of look at how we segment. See, the first one, and I think the most obvious, is what kind of music do you listen to?
Correct.
And if
South,
there are
North, East, English, Hindi, Punjabi, I imagine that would be
absolutely. So there are
fundamental.
100 genres, right? Then there are 100 segments, right? You might belong to one or more than 10 segments,
Correct.
because you listen to jazz, but you also listen to
Punjabi pop and
Punjabi
I want
pop
to
or
listen
whatever.
to-
So
yeah.
you could belong to many segments, but there are more than 100 genres, right? And surprisingly, when I joined Spotify, yeah, there was like, rock, pop and jazz and, Bollywood and filmy and all of that. But I mean, I got educated over 5 years that this is still a surprise to me, that there is a genre called sad romance.
Okay.
And that
This
is one
for
of the top
heartbroken
genres.
people who had breakups and all.
I'm not too sure that if it's only the people who've had breakup, because it is a top genre in India. So I'm just hoping that not too many people listen to it when they
Sad
have
romance.
breakups.
Okay,
And
Lady
it's-
Gaga has a song called Bad Romance. So
Yes.
this is pretty close
Sad
to that.
romance, yeah.
Now, at your session at the Cannes line earlier, you said the basic ABC of India, and I quote you, is astrology, Bollywood, cricket, and devotion. Now, this is going to be the go-to formula for any player in your market?
These are the passion points for a lot of users, right? I mean, it could be 2 out of 3, all 4 out of 4, or 3 out of 4, but these are the passion points of Indians. As a brand, I may choose to ride on one, I may choose to ride on more than one, but when you're riding on a passion point, it just gives you that entry point or an entry door into a consumer's life.
3 of the AV series, Bollywood, cricket, and devotion, are obvious what you can do to sort of exploit those interests. Astrology caught me off guard. Are Indians that fascinated by astrology?
Absolutely.
And what does that mean for you as a marketer?
So, like I said, there are many learnings for for me as well when I joined Spotify. But I think astrology is actually the A of ABCD for a lot of Indians. How we can leverage? See, other than music, we also have podcasts, right? And there is an opportunity to talk about astrology, not only educate people on astrology, but talk about how your day would be, or how astrology has evolved over years. There are many aspects of astrology that can be spoken about, and I think podcast is one of our areas where we would leverage that.
So let's talk about podcasts, because we see a boom in podcasts in the West,
Yes.
with people like Joe Rogan scoring multi-million-dollar deals.
Yes.
Many Indian podcasters are hopeful that one day Spotify will offer them a multi-crore rupee deal.
Yeah.
So for young podcasters out there, what is Spotify looking for from a podcast?
See, the podcast ecosystem, like you mentioned, is changing, is evolving, and I'm seeing that change on both the sides. And we are consciously investing on both the sides. While on the consumer side, we're building the demand. So we are talking about what all podcast offers in terms of genres, right? I mean, all the way from, like we said, astrology to Bollywood to, sports, and then
Horror stories
and
to
horror
whatever.
and
You can
everything,
have
right? So
anything.
you put out the range or the menu of podcast. You also invest in building podcast as a habit,
Mhm.
right? You showcase that, hey, this is the right time to stream a podcast, because like, it's not part of our lives, right? So when you're walking, when you're driving, it's a great use case to sort of listen to podcasts. So we focus a lot on putting out the menu, the wide slate of podcasts, but also invest behind building the habit. At the same time, there is a lot of investment that's going into building the creators. So we work a lot with the creators, whether it's the beginning stage, or moving up a creator who already has a podcast, then to the next stage, telling them how to market, how to make more episodes, and how to reach out to their fans better. We are investing a lot in building the creator community as
And
well.
you see that the podcast will be a significant part of Spotify's business in
Absolutely.
the future.
I mean, it already is, but I think it's obviously growing at an extremely well trajectory.
Okay. So I'll repeat the last part of my question. For young podcasters who want to pitch to you, what should the pitch contain?
It's so easy these days that I actually don't even
Correct.
need to pitch to
Correct.
anybody
They
right
don't need to
now. They
pitch
don't
it
need
to
to
you.
pitch to
They just need to
anyone
make it
right
and
now.
release it on
All
Spotify.
you don't even need a microphone. You don't need a background like a video setup for any other video platform. You only need a phone.
You can just stream it from your phone.
Absolutely. You
Okay.
need a phone, and there are apps right now available. And we had an app ourselves, which is Anchor. You make a podcast. It helps you design the cover of the podcast. It helps you, sort of mix music behind it and push it out to Spotify and multiple other audio platforms. So it's really that simple. No pitches needed.
Now let's move to celebrities and influencers. Well, does or will Spotify use either of these two in the marketing mix?
Yes, I think we do. When it comes to celebrities, we don't use them as brand ambassadors. We have used actors as actors. So if
Or musicians as musicians?
absolutely, or musicians as musicians, and influencers in their space talking to their users, and for us, all creators and all musicians are influencers, right? Because end of the day, the job of an influencer is to sort of connect with their fans.
Yeah, in that sense, your job is easier because your musicians are already influencers. You don't need to get
Absolutely. So
additional
whether it's
influencers.
the musicians or on the podcast side, it's the creators who then become our influencers. They are constantly talking to their fans on social. But coming back to your question on celeb, we've used Bollywood celebs
Yeah.
more as actors and not as brand ambassadors. So if there is a script and we feel that there is a particular personality that fits well, we would reach out to them as an actor, but not so much as a brand ambassador.
Now let's talk about data. Now, you obviously generate mountains of data every single second of every single day, and you said some of this data is used to personalize, say, my Spotify experience. Your view on data security, privacy?
See, I think we follow obviously the absolute, best guardrails, or the best ways to sort of store and also use the data. We're very, very conscious about that. There is no use of individual data in any way. Absolutely,
It's all aggregate
it's
data.
all aggregated, right? So and all if I am servicing you as a personalized as a personalized user experience, then it's behind a wall, right? There is no view of hey, this is this person and this phone number looks like this. So that's absolutely guarded. But yes, there is a lot of data, and that allows us to give you that experience, right? That is optimized for really what you are streaming, which artist you're streaming, and what part of the day you're streaming. You like streaming this while transit or while chilling or while in the shower. Yes, we do know that behind the guard, but that is what allows us to.
And as a marketer, Neha, how do you look at a bunch of data and say this is the signal and that is not important? I imagine that's a huge challenge for you to distinguish what part of the data actually yields an insight and what doesn't?
See, I think a data point, I wouldn't say that it's not important. Like if I'm seeing that, hey, every day you are seeing this, you're streaming this music, one song every day. Yes, I will try and leverage that data and put that in a certain format to you, or present that to you in the communication that you see as well, in a certain way. So I'm not sure if I would disregard a consumer data saying that this was not important.
No, I meant from a marketing insight point of view, some data is obviously going to be more valuable than the others. So what sort of filter do you use to, when you look at a mountain of data and say, this is what I'm looking for?
Primary data is what as music are you consuming, and at what parts of the day you're consuming, what for you is a repeat sort of a genre versus what is something that you try and just explore. But interestingly, we see that when we learn more about what people like to experiment with, and then surface more of that does become one of the permanent sort of streaming genres.
Okay. Neha, you've already said that radio is not Spotify's competition. So who is Spotify's competition?
We see music as a grease to life, right? It helps you celebrate moments a little bit more. It also helps you grease some crummy situations, right? So we see that music or Spotify will sort of complement a lot of other moments in your life, and the intent always is to try and fit ourselves a little bit more there. Whether you're walking, jogging, or you're rocking in the evening, or you're just chilling with your wife over a tea, or you're commuting, the idea is to fit into mostly all of them, including now, with sleep music and stuff, like how to literally put you to bed in a little bit more soothing way. So the idea is not to understand and react to other competitive streaming apps or anything, but it is really about how we can fit into the consumer life a little bit more.
Okay. Neha, thank you very much for talking to us at Melt.
Likewise, I really like being here.
And with that, it's a wrap on this episode. You can follow Melt on social media. The handle is Ready to Melt, or simply log on to readytomelt.com. If you'd like to follow me, it's at Suvenk on X, formerly known as Twitter. Till next week, goodbye and thanks for watching.